I think I'm on this time. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. One of these days, the technical issues will be sorted before I go live. But I think I'm on now. Uh, there we go. I think that's it. How's everybody doing? So, welcome in to Pomp. I know you've got to head off to work soon. Sir Spookfest. Hello, how you doing? Uh, Pinky, Dragon Ranger. Hello, how's everyone doing today? Yeah. Hi, Sherry Ann. Yeah, I just seem to hit the wrong buttons. I'll get used to it at some point, but I thought I was live, but I wasn't. Done that the last time as well. But hey, 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 we're here now. We're here now. So thank you for all coming. Thank you. I shall. I have a wee. It's not Coca Cola. Not well, not just Coca Cola. Um, so imbibing in a little southern comfort with you guys tonight. So hope you're all doing well. Hi, Dragon Ranger. Happy birthday. Oh, that's me. Thank you. Um, I've not had too much of that already, I promise. Um, so I was actually out earlier. Thanks, Sherry Ann. Thank you. I was actually out and about earlier, so I decided to choose a later time for this live. And I know other people go live on a Sunday as well, so I was trying to find not a problem, cat. Welcome in. Glad you're here. So yeah, I think the Pomp, it's all I've got in. I don't have. Is it the Coke party at the your no liking the Southern Comfort part is pretty nice, but Coke Zero is all I've got in. Um, but I do like it with Coke Zero. I do prefer it with lemonade, but uh, lemonade, a dash of lime, maybe ginger beer. Quite nice, quite nice. Yeah, it should be lemonade. Yeah, I didn't think that far ahead. I knew I had that stuff in the fridge, but didn't think I'm getting anything else. So I drink Coke Zero normally. So that's all I had. That's all I had. But it shall suffice. I can't take it straight anymore. Unfortunately, the Crohn's doesn't allow my stomach to take things that strong anymore. So watered down with some Coke Zero. Got to do. Got to make do with what we have. Sarah, fantastic publishing. Welcome in. See if I can get the used to this. Yay! Thank you very much. Thank you. Uh, so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to try my best to focus on chat because I know the last couple of times I've just rabbited on and not got much in the way of chat. Hopefully the image isn't too bad for you guys. I tried it with my main lights on. I've got five halogen spots, the small round ones in the ceiling. So when I put them on, it tends to wash out the screen. So I've got two lamps either side that I think are doing okay light wise, but we'll make do with what I have. And it's just the camera on my PC that I'm using because as yet I don't have any other equipment to use. I'm not really. I've got a couple of good whiskies there that I got from my cadets when I left, um, but I'm not really a whiskey man. Unfortunately, for a Scotsman, that's a no. That's a big no, no, no. But it's just the way it is. I'm not a big whiskey drinker. I was a stout or heavy man, um, and then went on to Southern Comfort. And now, if I am drinking, all I do drink now is Southern Comfort. I very rarely drink beer anymore. The changes things you have to do when the stomach decides to play up. Sandra Peachy, hello, how are you? Hopefully the time suits a little better for some of you guys overseas as well. Um, I'm always, I mean, I'm not kind of big in the community live wise and stuff like that or anything else. So it's trying to find a time where I know people will be able to tune in if they want to, that other folk aren't going live because the majority of the you guys that are on here are all watching the paranormal stuff as well. So I don't want to get in the way of that. But I'd love to start doing some more lives as well. Um, Spange, hello and thank you. Welcome in. Uh, but these are all things I'll work out. Um, who else have we got? Don't want to miss anyone. I was going to start some music and I forgot. Well, that's not too bad, Pinky, but it's a Monday for you guys, though, so the danger is people will be working and stuff like that. But so I might do not maybe regular, but semi-regular lives um, on a Sunday, possibly to do what I've been thinking of, like a Sam Haines chill Sunday chill or something like that. We'll call it Sam Haines Sunday chill, where we just sit and we talk guff. Um, let's see, get some music on in the background as well. Hopefully, I get to look at that this time and it works. Paranormal Poet, hello, good morning to you, and thank you for saying happy birthday on your live this morning as well. Welcome in, good to see you. If anyone here isn't or subscribed to Paranormal Poet, go and give him a look. Good guy, good content, good stories. The same with anyone else on here. Hi, Crypt Walker. Hello, how are you? Welcome in. I will pick this up faster soon. The more I do this, I think the better I'll get at controlling. Not controlling, but seeing the chat and getting things up on screen as well. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. Michael, welcome in. I'm doing well. I'm doing good. So I'm not. What's this? 3 lives now. I've done maybe 3 lives, and I think I'm getting a little bit more confident. This is helping tonight. Thank you. That's only the first one, but it's a small one. I only poured a small one. But thank you everybody for popping in on my birthday. I've never really been a big birthday guy. I had a big function for my 40th. Even when I was younger, my birthdays, early teen birthdays were, a few friends rounds and stuff like that. Significant. Maybe my 21st was a big party. My 40th, and then even for my 50th, it was just family. It was actually a cousin had a Halloween party, and we decided to, seeing as the family were all there, but that was a couple of years ago, so we decided just to make that as my 50th. I'm not big on birthdays and things like that. Like today, I had to wait in for a food delivery. I have the food parcel things arrive, HelloFresh, and unfortunately they come every Sunday, so I'm going to be ditching that soon because it's inconvenient. But so I went out for a drive once that arrived. That's my idea of fun. In fact, funny story. So I like to drive out to Aberfoyle, which featured in one of the campfire stories and the recent one over in Samhain, Scotland, about Robert Kirk and the fairy tree. Now I love Aberfoyle, and I've been going there since I was an absolute kid, and that's where I drove tonight because I thought I'll drive through there. The sunset was nice tonight here in Scotland. We had a dry, sunny night. Some cloud coming in over towards the end. So I left the house about 3 o'clock this afternoon and headed out to Aberfoyle. Now, I may have mentioned this once or two, but I drive a small 2-seater sports car, and I was able to get the roof down because it's dry weather. Bear with me a second. I'm aware the music stopped. I don't know how I keep getting this wrong with the music. I think that should be at looped now. So anyway, so I drove out to Aberfoyle, roof down, music blaring away. I think it was some rock compilation I had on as I was driving out through the country roads out to Aberfoyle. Get to Aberfoyle, and I've got a small tradition where I used to have a cottage up there. So the story, The Raven of Rest Harrow, is based on that cottage. and the time I used to spend up there with the groups and teaching and camping and stuff. Uh, so I love Aberfoyle. I love driving through. So I drive through there, and what used to happen, there was a group of the leaders that I used to have helping would go out there in November and for my birthday weekend, or the weekend closest to my birthday if it fell midweek, and we would chill. Now, as I said, this cottage didn't have any electricity. It was just uh, gas bottle lanterns and open fire, so you could throw peat in there, wood, coal, whatever you had, and that's how we kind of spent. So up there in November, it was pretty cold. So we used to have a few drinks, but I loved Cadbury Caramel, which is a chocolate bar with caramel in the middle, soft caramel in the middle, and it's absolutely beautiful. So the tradition was the guys used to buy me a big slab of it, and that would be part of the fun to go along with the drinks and drinking games that came along with that. So I've kind of kept that tradition going. I like to drive through there on my birthday, which is why I always take this time of year off. So I'm off all of next week because that's it after my birthday. So I'll do some stuff. So I drove through there today to go and get now they don't do the big slabs of Cadbury Caramel anymore. So I was just getting a small one. So I got two small ones. I got myself one of the wee bottles of Coke Zero and a packet of crisps. And I was going to go for a wee walk around the trails up there while I was there. And I went into the co-op shop and got all the stuff, went up to the checkout, put it all through the checkout, and then realised I didn't have my wallet, thought it was in the car. So I sheepishly said to the girl behind the counter, I was using self-checkout, I says, look, I need to go out to the car. I've left my wallet there. Do you mind if I leave this stuff here and go and get it? She was like, yeah, sure, not a problem, sir, on you go. So I go out to the car. Now, as I said, it's not a very big car, so there's not many places to put stuff. Could not find the wallet at all. Sudden realisation, I didn't bring it out with me. I left it in the house. So I had to go back into the shop and I said to the girl, look, I'm really sorry. I've either dropped my wallet somewhere. I thought I had it when I was at the petrol station, but I don't. So she was like, oh, don't worry about that. I was just cancelled the sale, and I'm really sorry about that. She went, no, hold on a second. So she paid for it. She paid for the things that I had, and there was a guy standing, I think might have been shift manager or whatever, and he was like, oh, just as well she'd done that. She says, I was about to. So I turned around and I said to them, oh, look, that's absolutely amazing, but it's my birthday day as well, so thanks for that. And they were, oh, that's great, that worked out well. It was well embarrassing, but worked out well. And she threw in a cupcake as well for my birthday. So yeah, funny story. So yeah, I think it's because they see my face up there all the time. As I say, I'm up there every weekend or every other weekend. But I will drive through there tomorrow, and I will offer to pay her back for it because I felt guilty. But it was just the fact that without even hesitating, somebody that she didn't really know, she might have seen my face in the shop every now and again, but they get so many tourists in there. How could she possibly have recognised me? But so yeah, she paid for she paid for my goodies. So that was quite good. And then came home later on, had some dinner. But yeah, beautiful sunset out there as well. Beautiful sunset. So how are we getting on in chat? What have I missed? Anybody new coming in? So what about you guys then? So how have you guys all been doing today? What's new with you? So a couple of other things I was thinking about then is I'll give you a quick overview of what I've got coming up, what I may have coming up, and just obviously to begin with, I know I've been absent for the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, I had an uncle who was taken into hospital and then unfortunately passed away. It was all kind of unexpected. He'd gone in he had an infection in his foot, and then within a week and a half, he was gone. So we didn't know exactly what happened, but anyway, so that's been all up there. So the funeral's next week, so I've got that coming. So I've kind of been all over the place trying to kind of get things trying not to be too distracted with things as well. Uh, Susan, hello, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. So with that, thank you, Pinky. Thank you. Um, so with that said, I have fallen back on the things that I was planning on doing, and getting things out. So I apologise for that. Thank you, Sherry Ann. Sorry, thank you. Um, but I do have plans, and I did manage to get things written. So um, I do have a story written, but I'm also working on. This is for the Sam Haines Campfire Chills. So I do have a story written for that. Slightly longer, and it is based around an area called Mugduck Country Park. Now, I've done a story there a while back. I've done a story there about the old gun emplacements. So it was a story about a time slip. People, a group of teens going out there and go back and look at it. Go back. It's there in the channel. So, but they go back and they find it was used by devil worshippers and things like that. So they kind of slip back in time and find all that anyway. So what I've looked at is I've got another story, but slightly different than that, based on the gun emplacements themselves. They were a World War II gun emplacement set up to protect Glasgow, or the kind of west part of Glasgow anyway, in Clydebank, where the shipyards were. But they never fired a single shell. They were never fired. So I've done a story on that. And there is some lore around Mugduck Castle itself, the standard White Lady. So I was going to do a little bit on that, which will link into, that's going to be my next episode on Sam Haines, Scotland, is about Mugduck Country Park, which is a part of, or one of the first parts you come through doing the West Highland Way from Milngavie. Milngavie is the start from this end of the West Highland Way, the official start of the West Highland Way. And you come through part of Mugduck Country Park, and it's a beautiful area, an absolutely beautiful area. And I used to take groups there camping as well. And there is some lore. There's a place called Gallows Hill, which was used for witches, hanging witches. There's a witch's pond as well. There's not much in the way of ghost stories or ghost sightings other than the castle itself, where it was reported that there was the White Lady. So anyway, I'll go into that more. I'll do an episode on Sam Haines Scotland, so that should be coming up soon, which is good. Well, I say no, I'll take that back. Not coming up soon. I've still to film it. And the good thing about that is it's not far from me. It's about a 10-minute drive from me. So it means with the winter coming in, I'm not travelling up into the Highlands. I'll leave all those ones until the new year. That's going to take a bit of coordinating on my part as well, because obviously I won't be able to do that during the week unless I take leave from work to go and do that. So that would need to be weekends. And then it's all finding accommodation and all that kind of stuff as well. So I'll work on that. So the Mugduck Park one, and I'm looking at a few other local venues as well, areas I can go and the lore into them. So the stories then, so I've got a story written, but what I'm also thinking of doing, or I've kind of started doing, and this was partially through something Sarah said on one of her lives about how she loves the carnivals. I also had a story out about a carnival. It appears in the forest with the puppets and things like that as well. There was another one with the puppets. So the one with the carnival, where the young lad goes in and is basically taken by the carnival. I'm going to do a follow-up. In fact, I've got two started writing down the ideas. So a part 2 and a part 3. I think it's the Forgotten Carnival. So there's going to be a part 2 and there's going to be a part 3, which will tie them together. Because I do like a kind of idea of a carnival. There's something otherworldly, I think, sometimes about carnivals as well. So they're in the works. So the story about the gun emplacements, the World War II gun emplacements, which is a purely work of fiction, um, based on an event that supposedly happened. This is me, right? Not because nothing happened there on that. There's nothing reported there. But so this is me taking artistic license, and I have looked at some real reported stuff, like the. I'm not going to go into too much though, but there are things out there about the fact that the gun was never fired, um, about who was stationed there. So I've got the unit, the actual unit designation of the troop that was stationed there, the gunners that were stationed there. So I've got that information. So that information will be in there. Laura, thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Good to have you in. So there is true information in the story. As I said, there was no ghost sightings or anything reported around that site. But I don't mind. I'm a fiction writer, so I'll make that up. But I say that loosely, fiction writer. I write stuff, and I based a story around that. So I will include the information I have on that in the Samhain Scotland episode that's going to come out as well. But I'll mainly focus on the legend of the Mugduck Castle and the White Lady there as well, part of that. And then hopefully that will be it. I might take a break from there after through Christmas, because the weather's going to get pretty bad, and I'll need to look at other local sites that may be folklore based around here to get around. But yeah, there are story ideas in the works for Campfire Chills, so that'll give me some time to work over them. I'll get some things finished off as I'm off work, basically this whole week coming up. And then we can collab on carnival ideas. Yes, I saw that, Kip Walker. I liked that one, Sir Pomp's Carnival. We will talk, 100%. We'll talk. We'll get something set up on that. I quite enjoy. I've collabed with Nick from Paranormal Poet, and I really enjoyed that. As nerve-wracking as it was doing that with somebody who's as established as he is, I actually really enjoyed that. I'm open to collab with folk. I just find it amazing that folk that people would want to do that. I'm just a normal bloke from Glasgow, and until I started this story, this journey with the stories and stuff like that, I don't know. I'm no one for the spotlight. Despite everything that I've done in the past, working in the areas I've worked in and presenting things and doing stuff, I'm really not one for the spotlight. But when I'm there, I'll do it. Yep. I'm up for that. I'm up for any collabs and stuff that's going on. I'm still learning, and if I can learn from you guys, because the names that I'm seeing in here, obviously Susan there, we've got Sarah, we've got Laura, Paranormal Poet, Nick, you guys are all established. You've been doing, really good well. Crypt Walker, you do well as well. I'm still learning this game. I don't know why things work, not so much as, what I mean by why things work is, if you look at Samhain Scotland, for instance, the video that I put up is at 117 views. How the heck did that happen? How did that video get to 117 views when the last story I put on Campfire Chills, I'm lucky it's got 17 views? I don't work it. I don't know this YouTube game. I'm not sure. Pinky, you're doing really well with your stuff. I really like that last video you put up there about the kind of folk music on it. That really grabbed my attention for obvious reasons. I love that tune. I love the song as well. But I really enjoyed that tune. I feel awkward sometimes reaching out because I know I'm very self-conscious about. Um, I know I can like can email people and things like that, but I'm very self-conscious about treading on other people's toes. Um, but quite happy to kind of glean any information that all you pros can give me. But I want to do something with it. You know, I want to make something of it. I do I do kind of look at the views on my stories and wonder where it is I'm going wrong. Why am I not getting? You know, as I said, the last few stories are barely breaking 20 views, 23 views. That last one was only like 17 views, and I'm trying to think. And it's not the people that are watching them are the regular viewers, but it's what do I need to do to get YouTube to push these out is what I'm getting at, because I don't know. I've tried thumbnails, I've tried titles, I've kind of looked at other channels, I've seen what they do, and it's sorry, that caught my eye. Yeah, Pomp, aye. No, stay out of the limelight as much as possible. Even in my job, I'm a manager in my work, and I don't like it because I don't like having to take that. I've been a leader, you know. Many of you may have remembered from our previous chat. I was an officer in the Army Cadet Force, so I instructed young people, and I was also responsible for training the adult instructors, so the new adults that came in, and I enjoyed that and I loved it. But the reality is, I hated being that person in the middle of a room of 20, 30, 40 people, being the focus of attention, people watching me as I run through things. 16 years of it, so you'd think I'd get used to it, but I don't. Um, yeah, I've kind of looked into a lot of things like that as well, and I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't seem to get the interactions that I notice other people do like that, Nick. The comments and things. As I said, the regular people do leave comments. I get likes, but I've noticed as well they've been dying down lately. I've tried to change the format slightly of my story writing, um, to go into more detail, because my first few stories, first few videos, I was throwing things out and they were like 10, 15-minute long tops, because I believe that around 10 minutes I'm going to start losing people's interest. So I want it to be done, dusted, and away by then. And then you start looking at the other channels and think, well, people could be watching this in the background, listening to the story. So I could make it longer, and it might prompt them to put it on and go and do their housework, go and make their dinner, and they can still hear the story. So I started changing things. I started changing the way I write, to include more of the atmospheric kind of writing. So, you know, the smell of the peat, you know, the sense of the air chilling, and the, you know, how it, so trying to add more and things like that in. So I'm trying to push all that, but it's like every time I've discovered this new way of doing things, YouTube doesn't seem to recognise it, and I don't know what it is, but I would be honoured. I would be honoured actually to do that. Yeah. Again, I've had Michael Burkey, and I've been on his show and stuff like that as well, and I'm happy to do these things. I'm just kind of I'm like, why? You know, why would people want me on? I'm a nobody. But no, I'd be happy to come on, because it'd be good to chat to you, and like everyone else as well, because I've seen what you guys do. You know, I've seen your chats, your lives, and it's great. You know, and maybe someday I'll get there as well. But if I can work all that out, if I can work out how the videos I've got one video on Campfire Chills, I think it was at 164. That was one of my earlier videos, and I thought that was amazing. But it went downhill after that. I started losing. So I don't know what it is. I've played about with thumbnails, you know, darkening the image, but giving enough detail to make it mysterious looking, changing the fonts, you know, things like that to try and attract people in. Pomp, thank you for popping in when you did. Again, you know, I know you kind of work from 9, usually around about this time, but I was kind of stuck with picking times because I was out as well. But thank you for coming in when you did. Enjoy work. Don't work too hard now. Don't get too bored either. But thank you. Thank you. I just said a year ago when I started the channel, I thought it'd be fun to have a go, and it is fun to have a go at it. I never thought it would go anywhere. I never thought I would have, what am I, 157 subs, 158, and then I lose 100. So the last couple of weeks have been 158 and then down to 157. But I don't care about that because I know I've got that core of, sometimes it can get to about 30. So I've got a core of about 20 to 30 regular viewers, and I love that. I absolutely love that, you know, and I'm happy for that. And if people want to stick it on in the background and let it play while they do other stuff, perfect, absolutely perfect. That's what these things are designed for. So yeah, Crypt Walker, yes, I am on Discord. I'm bad at keeping up with that kind of stuff. I've more or less deleted all my social media things. Thanks, Paul. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Sorry, I read that and then had to read it again because I thought before I speak if I read that right. So there's the Discord. It's in there as well. Yeah, so it's a strange one, and the reason I want to I'll get these stories out, but I also want to start the second story on Sam Hain Scotland because that is taken off. That, as I said, that first video I put up about Robert Kirk and the Fairy Tree is, I think it was 117 views. I was like, okay, there's nothing else on the channel apart from the channel introduction. So how did I get to that stage? But I've got a lot of work I need to do. I know I want to get a proper intro that ties in both channels. Something that I can use that connects both channels, and an outro. Do the same, some end cards or whatever that'll do the same. I've started on, adding in links to the other channel at the end of each video. That we'll start to do that, and I've done that on the last one. But tons of stuff still to learn, even though it's been a year. The channel's been on the go over a year and a couple of months now. The channel's been on the go, but there's still a lot that I want to do. My mind knows what I want to do, but my technical ability doesn't allow it because I'm still learning. Like the intro, the music stuff, I'm snookered when it comes to getting that. I want a set type of music as well that I can use, not different songs and stuff, but something that will link all my videos, like just to play quietly in the background, like the drone I've got in the Robert Kirk video, the kind of Celtic lilt that goes through that, and similar with the later Campfire Chills songs as well. I've got that kind of Celtic flow going through them, as well as the eerie music, and I want to kind of build that up as a package, so I want a kind of Sam Hain's package, if you like, where that's my video about to start, and that each channel is connected. The ideas are there. I'm one of these guys. I've always been full of ideas and kind of, I know what I want to do. Sometimes I just don't know how to do it. Sherry Ann, the Fairy Tree was my favourite, and reminded me of stories my grandma used to tell. I love Aberfoyle and the Fairy Tree. I used to take youth groups up there and show them it back when I was a little bit fitter and able to get up that hill a bit quicker. And it's been great. Sandra, not a problem. Hope all is well with you. And I'm so happy you were able to pop in when you were. And thanks again for the happy birthday. Speak to you later. Take care. So a lot to do, a lot of things to do, a lot of ideas. So I will get there. And I know I said this in the last one as well, but I'm still messing around with things and trying to work out what to do. So I want music that'll be able to tie in with my videos and keep it the same rather than change it for every video. So it just makes things a bit harder when it comes to editing. If there's no consistency throughout the videos, So I don't know if that's maybe a reason why videos are not pushing out. But I'll see, that's what I'm aiming for. Improving my views, improving the views of the videos, how I can go about that. So I watch other YouTube videos. I mean, they're YouTube creators. There's a channel out there. Some of the stuff I look at, yeah, you don't want to be seeing that. You didn't want to see that, man. No, you don't. You don't want to be seeing stuff like that. But yeah, yeah. But fans, and I get what some people say about it can be disheartening at times, and it can, especially when you've got so much other things going on. I work full time, and we have a laugh in Sarah's chat because I use the word work loosely because I sit here. I'm sitting at my desk just now. I've got can you see my hand? Can you see my hand? So my work's laptop is here, and I've got the monitor on this side. I need to turn the whole PC around. It's not a portable camera, so the whole PC I would need to turn around for you to be able to see my setup. But and obviously I've got the screen here. So when I'm working, I've got work's laptop and the monitor here that I work on, with the PC here, with YouTube on, every day, and Sarah's lives on a Tuesday. I hate it. I'm not. It's been the last 5 years that I've been a civil servant, running a team, and I'm not a fan. Not a fan of office work. I don't know, but I don't know if I'm too old to go and do anything manual anymore. Don't have a proper skill that I'd be able to do anything self-employed, so I'm stuck. Between that and all the health issues that have hit me over the last year or so, last 2 years, I wish I could find something else to do. But anyway, so the YouTube was just a distraction from all of that, and that's why I keep it going. But it is disheartening at times when you've got all that stuff on, maybe not feeling the best because my Crohn's is playing up, or whatever it may be at the time, and I feel that I've worked hard on a video and you don't get very, very little views, and but I keep going because I remind myself that the views I'm getting are worth doing another video for. So I keep looking at that. So every view I get is another video coming up, even if it's only one. It might be a pain, but I'll still make more videos. I'll still get those videos out there as best I can. Things you shouldn't do when you're on a live is actually check, because I'm on StreamYard's view, so I suddenly clicked on the wrong tab and it took me into YouTube, and I could see myself and I was distracted there. Because what I've got open here as well was I had a little bit of fun earlier, just to come away from talking about that and have a bit more fun. And I googled, has anybody ever googled what happened on their birthday? Anybody out there googled what famous people share your birthday, what famous people died in your birthday? I actually got this idea from Mad Paranormal. I was in their live a wee bit earlier as well, so they had mentioned it, and so I had a look, and it's crazy. See, when you look at now, there is, when people talk about what was number one on your birthday, Ryan, thanks for coming in, and enjoy. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the birthday wishes. I will hopefully see you on one of your chats with Michael and the dudes, or in another chat. But yep, thank you for popping in. And there's Leanne. Hello, Leanne. Welcome in. Yeah, so number one, UK number one. I don't like mentioning this, but I was born on the 16th of November, today, 1973. So if anyone wants to Google what was UK number one then, feel free, because the chappers are wrong, and so I tend not to mention it. However, the US number one was Keep On Trucking, by, hold on to get that back up again. So that's what I'm going to go for now. Keep On Trucking by Eddie Kendricks was the US #1 on the 16th of November 1973. So that's the one I'm going for from now on. If somebody asks me what was #1, I don't want to mention the other guy. No, Crip Walker, no, not Dancing Queen by ABBA. I would have been all right with that. But no, there was a certain gentleman who was big in the glam rock kind of scene that wasn't a very good chap when it came to his exploits with minors, let's just say. So I tend not to, I wish it was a different year, but anyway. And then I got looking at serial killers. So what serial killers were active around the time when I was born? And that's an interesting dive as well. So around the time then in the States, so in the United States around the 16th of November 1973, the 70s was actually quite dark when it came to serial killers and stuff. So we've got the Zebra Killer or the Zebra Killer, which was apparently a group of 4 men: J.C. Simon, Larry Green, J.C. Simon, Larry Green, Manuel Moore, and Clarence Jameson, actively engaged in racially motivated murders and attacks in San Francisco. Wow. So some more notable ones then. We have the good old Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strangler, died in prison November 25th, 1973. The man himself, John Wayne Gacy, was active between 1972 and 1978. Richard Cottingham, known as the Torso Killer or the Times Square Ripper, was active in New York around that time. He was involved in murders in 1972 and 1973, which he later confessed. But it's a dark period. It is a really dark period. Pomp, yes, that's the one. Paul Gadd. Star Wars, yeah. Movies. So I looked into movies as well, and there wasn't really anything significant movie-wise. So film releases on November the 16th, 1973. Obviously, this is US. There's a film called Breezy, a romantic drama directed by Clint Eastwood, starring William Holden and Kay Lenz, about a May-December romance. There you go. There was a horror comedy called Arnold. It was a film starring Stella Stevens and Roddy McDowall, about a plot to inherit a deceased lord's estate. There you go. A drama with Richard Pryor and Zalman King called Some Call It Loving. Some notable film releases in November 73 include Robin Hood on November the 8th, which was a Walt Disney animated one. The Way We Were, a popular romantic comedy starring Barbara Streisand and Robert Redford. And Westworld, science fiction. Those that know it don't know it. A science fiction western thriller about a futuristic amusement park where the androids go haywire. I think it was Yul Brynner, and it then became a TV series. So it's interesting. So if you do that, if you all go onto Google and put in your birthday, or go into your chat AIs or whatever, put in your birthday and have a deep dive on what was #1, any notable events. I don't think there was any notable events in 73. And the serial killer one is very dark. That's very dark. John Wayne Gacy, the Boston Strangler. These are all ones that I've heard of growing up, and I share a time period with. That's frightening. That's frightening. And no, I don't share a time period with Jack Ripper. I'm not that old. But it was interesting. It's fun things to do because I thought I could have some fun things to talk about while I'm on the live. As far as actors, so famous people that were born on November the 16th include Maggie Gyllenhaal, 1977. So she was in The Dark Knight, The Secretary, and Crazy Heart. Pete Davidson, 1993, was a comedian actor, cast member on Saturday Night Live. Lisa Bonnet, 1976, obviously better known as Miss Huxtable in The Cosbys. Martha Plimpton from The Goonies. Marg Helgenberger, anybody out there who's a CSI, crime scene investigations. She played Catherine Willows, which was great to know because I kind of had a crush on Marge, but there you go. Burgess Meredith, played Rocky, his manager in Rocky. Mickey, was it Mickey? And starred as a Penguin in the Batman TV series. So, yeah, not too bad. When it comes to musicians and sports personalities, one of my favourite boxers, UK-wise, Frank Bruno, who was a European champion. He was a good enough boxer. Had some personality on him. Became a TV personality as well. I thought the guy was brilliant. The rest of the names I didn't really know. But we've got Diana Krall, who was a Canadian jazz pianist. Where's the other one? There was another one that I didn't know of. So, W.C. Handy, the American composer, was 1873. So, not far off. But yeah, so sorry we're doing that. I've missed bits of chat. So who did we have coming in there? I missed somebody. Julie Jaya. Hello, Julie. Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. But yeah, so if you ever get the 1973, I was born, Pinky, 1973. So yeah, pretty old. Mystic Mimo, hello. Welcome in. Good to see you. And thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you. It's good to have you here as always. 1973 I was born. So 52 today. Yeah, getting old. My knees feel it. In fact, getting in and out of my car that I mentioned earlier on is getting. I've only had the thing about a year and a half, and it's. I'm struggling. I'll need to get some more walks in. I keep. How do I keep doing that? What's happening? What do I do? I'm trying to click on a specific comment there, and I keep losing it. There we go. Yeah, you're only as old as you feel. My body's falling apart, so I feel ancient. But started feeling old when my cadets used to tell me I was about the same age as my grandparents. So thanks for that, people. Thanks for that, telling me that. I really feel old now. So yeah, if you get a chance, deep dive things. So, any questions from you guys? Is there anything you want to ask? We'll do a birthday amnesty. Ask me anything you want. I might not answer, but there you go. I might not give you a full answer, but I'll certainly answer what I can. As I said earlier as well, I do have a few things that I want to look at in the way of the stories. There's loads of the folklore stuff that I want to look at as well. Most of those things are in the Highlands, so it's going to, as I said earlier, it'll need a bit of planning on my part as well to do the travel and get up to the Highlands. The Gilly Doo, Ben McDooey, which is in the Cairngorms, is one that I really want to do. He is also known as the Grey Man of Ben McDooey. This figure that appears, I don't think there's any badness about him. I don't think there's been any reported bad things, but he always appears, whether it be as a warning or just as a, an acknowledgement that you're on his mountain. So I want to look into that, and I'd written a story. I've got a story out about the Gilly Doo, Ben McDooey. So I want to tie in one of the folklore on Samhain Scotland with that as well. But it's not easy getting through to the Cairngorms, especially come the winter. So that'll be something I'll need to do near the summer, and on maybe a weekend, and we'll see how that goes. So I want to cover that kind of stuff. Then you go up into Inverness. Obviously, I've got to do something on Nessie. I don't necessarily. I might shock people here, but I'm not a believer in Nessie. I'm sorry, I'm not. I think Nessie's a massive tourist gimmick trap, but I will look into it. But I love Loch Ness. I love going up to Loch Ness and going up to the castle and things like that up there as well. So I might spend some time up there doing a feature on the kind of area and looking into Nessie and following the Nessie lore has been done to death. So I don't know if I'd be able to find something new, a new angle on it. I'll certainly look. And see if I can find a new angle. You never know. See if I can film Nessie herself coming up out the water. But yeah, definitely want to do something around the castle. Can I get that? Because there was a lot of fighting around that area as well. So, Pinky, do I have a family tartan? Yes, kind of. My family are not, or my family name is not Scottish. It's actually Irish. I am Scottish myself, born and bred. My mum, my grandparents were, but I believe my grandparents on both sides were from Ireland. So my dad's side, obviously, where my surname comes from, which I'm aware you don't know. They're from Galway in Southern Ireland. My mother's side, I think, are from Northern Ireland. So my family, this bloodline is a bit hectic, a bit confused, a bit of both. Yeah, so there is a tartan now. Equivalent tartan in Scotland, I think, is the McDonald clan. I would need to double check that again. But I think our affiliate is the McDonald's here in Scotland. But I'd need to check. Don't quote me on that. I'd need to check that. Yeah, so there is. So we've got a crest. We've got a family crest. And I researched that many years ago. So we have a family crest. And I went to Galway to kind of look into that. And that was a wonderful trip out to Galway. Saw the family seat, the castle. So we have a castle in our name as well, in Galway. So it was fascinating stuff, but I need to look out that stuff and look at it again, see what the tartan is, because I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember. But yeah, so it's not a Scottish tartan, because my surname is actually Irish. But there you go. I'm bad at this with the chat and kind of losing track of what's where. Look at something up. See, do you not need to believe in this to try and find it? Because I really don't. It would be, do you know what? See if I could go out there and find a new angle and find something, make a believer out of me, it would be brilliant. I'm not closed off to the idea. I just personally am the kind of guy that likes to see to believe. I like to have it here in front of me to believe it, not on a screen. We all know things can be manipulated, and for the most part have been over the past, especially when it comes to Nessie sightings. A lot of the famous sightings or the famous photographs have been manipulated or set up somehow. But when you go way back, there are a lot of things, a lot of sightings going back to St. Columba, who I think was the first. He came over from Ireland and settled in the area and saw a beastie in the water. So that's where it all started from. For things like that, I might look into the things that people miss, that the first sightings. So I might do that and see how that pans out. It might be a different take on it, but definitely. I don't know if I could be an Nessie hunter. I don't believe in enough to be able to put the effort in. If anything, I would go there to. You couldn't even disprove it either, because you would need to disproving Nessie is not finding anything, which is what most folk do anyway. They don't find it, and it's only on the rare occasion that there's a sight in the Nessie. So I don't know. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, but definitely kind of scope there. Sorry, I'm just kind of answering an email I just got there. Sorry. Just quickly, because it's okay. Anyway. Okay, let's never mind that. Sorry, I got an email on the channel's email address. Now I never get emails on the channel's email address. I think it might have been some spam thing. That's how it kind of distracted me there when the notification popped up. Oh, what's that? But yeah. So it's definitely a good drive up to Inverness. The countryside is beautiful. The loch itself has got a lot of places to explore. So there's a video in there somewhere looking at the lower. I'll take an objective view, but I'll also include the local landscape, because the hills around the loch itself are amazing. You know, the fact that the loch is almost black in appearance due to the peat that comes off the mountains. All that kind of stuff is great information to include, as well as, you've got to brush on Nessie yourself, being there as well. I could go wild haggis hunting. It's a possibility. I could take you all with me. Go wild haggis hunting, see what we can find. Yeah, a few things. There's also the Witches of Clava Cairns, which is something I'd like to look at as well, because we all know the witch trials happened. We all know that stuff happened. That happened here in Scotland as well. So there are few places in Scotland that claim witches. Paisley, just outside of Glasgow, is one. There's, an area, I say it loosely, say Paisley, Pollock Shaws, Pollock Shields. There's a country house there, which is partly to do with that as well, and could be a good shout. So there's things like that I want to do. The Witches of Clava Cairns, again, is moving up towards the Highlands. So it's a bit of a travel. It's about 4.5 hours, 5 hours drive. And I know for you guys in the States and probably even Australia, that's nothing. But it's time off work, and kind of try to fit it into a weekend for me. It's workable. It's workable. So it's something I definitely want to do. Have a good one, Crip Walker. Thanks for stopping by, and hope you sleep well. Yes, that would be good. Yes, we're gonna get something sorted, definitely. And okay, yes, perfect. Yep, drop me an email, and we'll kind of sort something up. Actually, this is good because it helps me as well, because I'm learning how other people work, and if I collab with people, hopefully something will rub off, and I'll kind of be able to improve things as well. But yeah, I'm happy to do collabs. That kind of only strengthens me and the things that I do as well. If you're going haggis hunting, I will have to bring you to the US so we can go jackalope. Oh, I've heard of the jackalope. Is that kind of like a big bunny type thing? Could be wrong. But Colorado, nice. Colorado's a nice place. Definitely. Do you know what? I'd love to get back over to the States. I've been to mainland New York State, where I used to teach camping and outdoor skills to groups of kids in Bear Mountain, a place called Bear Mountain, just outside New York. I think it was like 40 miles outside New York City, and it was a beautiful area, beautiful, not far from West Point apparently as well. If I'm in the right area, I don't know. Orange County. So yeah, I used to do that for years. I've been going over there 8 months at a time on a work visa, over to America, and teaching camping and outdoor stuff there. I was a bit younger then. I was in my early 20s, 22, 23 when I started doing that. No, 20 was I 23 when I finished doing it. There or thereabouts. So yeah, I'd love to do that. So jackalope is a jackrabbit with antlers. Yeah, see, I think I've seen a picture somewhere. Yeah, aye. So if I ever get back over to the States, Dragon Ranger, I'll drop you an email, and we'll get something sorted. Yep, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so I've been to Canada as well. Went out there to Vancouver with the cadets. We'd done an exchange program over there. We spent some time out there, and then their adults and cadets came to Scotland. So that was quite good. So I've been to a few places, been around a wee bit, but don't travel as much as I used to. I don't even camp and travel as much around Scotland anymore as I used to since I got older. It's not as comfortable sleeping on the floor these days at my age, but we'll get there. It's different. It takes a different person to go and do it in the winter. So, one thing I do want to do again though, or finish, is for any of the kind of overseas viewers that maybe have heard of this, the West Highland Way. I know some of my UK watchers will know of the West Highland Way, maybe, and here I mentioned it earlier as well. Empty Beats, hello, thank you for the birthday greetings, thank you. Welcome in. So yeah, the West Highland Way, the only time, I've only done it once, and I was 19. My best mate at the time, we appear in a story, my mate Danny, I've got him in a story with myself. We are the hikers in one of the kind of earlier stories, Andy and Danny, based on one of the I think it's the Black Bothy story. I think it's myself and Danny, based on a weekend hiking trip that we went on. We didn't see anything, but it was just, I've not experienced anything paranormal. I just like telling spooky stories, and I used to go to a lot of places and visit spooky places. So, and you know what it's like when you're younger and you're away, things happen. Funny stories happen. But yeah, Danny and I used to go away. Danny joined the British Navy out of university, so he was my best mate. He went away to university, and on his when he actually joined the Navy and he'd done his basic training, on his first leave over the Christmas period, he came back up to Scotland, and the two of us went out the week between Christmas and New Year to go and do the West Highland Way. Now, I was an avid camper. I'd done a lot of kind of camping things, outdoor things, basic survival things. He'd just finished his first part of basic training in the Navy, so we thought we knew everything. We were 19, we thought we knew everything, and we thought we could do the West Highland Way the week between Christmas and New Year in Scotland. And by this point, we're in the 90s, not temperature-wise, but years, so the weather wasn't the greatest back then either. And we decided we were going to do it without a tent, because between us, we thought we knew enough. We got 3 days in, and I ended up with hypothermia. We were washed out, the rain got us, we ran out of food, everything went wrong that could go wrong. So needless to say, I never actually finished the West Highland Way. So maybe someday, take the time, do it in a summer period when it's nice and warm, suits my old bones better. But yeah, I'd love to finish the West Highland Way at some point as well. Julie, yes, the Culloden. I've been to Culloden many times, and it is very, very eerie. Yeah, it's, when you think about the stuff that took place there, the battles that took place there as well, and you get to walk the trail through part of the battleground, a lot comes back. You know, you feel things. It's strange. It's very strange. But yeah, maybe there's another one. You know, add on to the repertoire then for Sam Hain Scotland is do the battlefields. So go to Culloden, maybe taking a bit of Culloden, Stirling Bridge. You know, there's places, loads of places I could do. Could be a good shout. I won't take the paranormal route, investigation-wise. That's not who I am. I'll look at the lore. I'll look at the area. I'll do what I've done in the first video with Robert Kirk, and look at fact and stuff like that. So that's the kind of way that I do things. As I said, I'm not a paranormal guy. I don't do investigations. I don't do that kind of stuff. But it's certainly, you can't go to these places and not think about that. You know, and it is what it is. So yeah, good. Thank you, Julie. I've got a notebook here. I'm going to write that down. That's a good one. It's a good shout. Yeah, so your message there, Nick. Thanks. I'll check the emails after this and have a wee look at that. Excellent. I really enjoyed our last collab, the Jersey Devil. Yeah, that was great. Sorry, I'm just writing down Culloden. So one of the other things I wanted to say then is I will do this in another live, but how about I have a live where we have a audience participation in that we will develop a story there on that live coming from you guys. Okay, so we'll open. In fact, I'll think about that now. I'll get a live out at some point. We'll do, maybe I'll start this then a semi-regular, do the Sunday, Sam Hain Sunday Chill lives. If this run about this time, roughly, if that suits people. I know I've gone over the hour, but if you guys are happy to hang on for a little bit, I'm good with that, because I've still got my Southern Comfort. I've got some left in that bottle as well down there to go. So the idea then is to do the live, and in the live we'll kind of have a potluck. We'll throw things out there. So we'll go for the what's the idea? What do we want the story to be about? So it's going to be a community story, paranormal, right? Because I know a lot of you guys, in fact, probably all the viewers I have, all the ones that watch the videos, I don't know if all of the 157, in fact 160 I'm up to now, sorry, thank you whoever, I've just noticed that, 160. I've had a few new subscribers since this live, so thank you. So we'll base it around the paranormal, because I know recently I've focused on the lore, Scottish lore. I want to bring more of the paranormal stuff in. I know a lot of you enjoy the paranormal, and let's face it, you can't have a scary story without ghosts and without paranormal happenings. So let's do this. Let me focus on getting established the Sam Hain's Sunday Chill. Forget that, Sam Hain's. I'll say it as often as I need for it to sink in. Sam Hain's Sunday Chill. So we'll do a session where you can get to tell me the story live on the air. So we'll build the story, we'll build the characters, we'll build, what's going to happen, we'll build the environment. I'll take notes, and I'll get to writing it. So you guys can come up with character names, you can come up with what happens, you can come up with any plot twists. And I know I'm going to get all of you throwing out your ideas. So we'll pick bits from each person, and that'll help, because it might be completely different from what we already have. So somebody might have suggested something, somebody else suggests something completely different, but it'll be an interesting way for me to write if I can add that twist in and make it work as a story. And then we'll have a community story. I don't know, it's just something I've been thinking about. I think that sounds good. So what you guys throw it into the chat now, what you think. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that you'd be into that? Because it would be something that maybe I would have done in about 20 years' time if I ever get monetization. It might be a members perk. You can help me do a member story. But let's face it, I'm never going to get to that. I'm never going to be monetized. I'm never going to have that. So the do it now. Let's do it now. Um, and get you guys involved. Get you guys involved. Hopefully, start to grow the channel a bit as well. I think that'd be fun. We could maybe do that once a month. The actual story once a month, but we'll have the lives on maybe every second week. But if they become more popular, I'll do them weekly. If there's a slot there that's not taken by one of the proper channels, one of the big channels, that I won't be stepping in and not get any viewers, then we'll do that. I still want to work on background. I'm only using the free version of StreamYard because I'm paying out a fortune for other things, and even my wage only goes so far. But I want to have a campfire scene in the background here, so I want to work that out at some point where I have an actual campfire going in the background, not in my house, obviously, not in my living room. Don't want to damage this place, but some sort of video running in the background where we can have a sit around the campfire on a Sunday for a nice chill out. We'll grab up get your feet up, grab the hot chocolates, grab the coffees and the marshmallows, and we'll sit and we'll have a proper Sunday chill. And we'll get creative. We'll discuss story ideas. Yeah. So it seems to be that a few of you think that's a great idea. So let's do that. Yeah. So, yeah. Sounds creative and fun. Thank you. I try to be creative. I've got all these ideas run through my brain all the time. Even years and years ago, I was always having stuff. I mean, it's like the art stuff that I do. That stuff. It's just a way to get the noise out of my head. Pinky, yeah. Excellent. Lyrics, story writing. It's still that creative writing. So yeah, perfect. Yeah, so it sounds that sounds something interesting. As I said, it's a way of hopefully getting the community involved as well. You never know. You never know. It might take off, and I think it'll be fun for you guys to see the story come together as well, and seeing your part coming out. Or, well, that character was mine. That's the one I came up with. Or, that twist is the one that I thought of. That's my twist in there. So hopefully we'll do that. Because if I was to wait until I can do members perks, you guys would be disappointed because we're not getting that far. Yeah, I think it'll be good. Because if I don't do things like that now, I'll forget and I'll have moved on to something else creative because my mind is constantly on the go. Which is why I started writing stories when I was younger, because I would have weird dreams and need to write them down. Or I'd be walking along the street and I would imagine things. Or what if in that place this happened? I'm a weirdo. I grew up a weirdo. So. Now I'm just getting to put that on video. Perfect. So we'll do that. That's what I'll work on now. So coming up, I've got the stories that I've written. So the story that I've written on the gun emplacements, that's written. I just need to start recording that. So record the audio and look at the visuals, what I want to do visually with that as well, and get that up and out for you guys. And then I can work on sometimes my creative ideas give me so much stuff to do, and then I think to myself, what are you doing? Why? Because I've now started this second channel, and I'm like, where am I fitting it all in? How am I going to fit it all in? So if I try not to get a story out every week, if I get stories written, which I can do, because I'm off all of next week, and the last batch of stories that you had was from this time last year, when unfortunately I was off for a couple of months due to my Crohn's. So I was off work for 2 months, and in fact it might have been nearly 3 months I was off last year. So I managed to write. That was just after I set the channel up, so I managed to get a ton of writing done over that period of time, which are the stories that are coming out more or less now, as well as some new ones that I've written recently. But the only reason I've got so many videos out at the moment is because I had the time to do that and I got the stories written. So hopefully this week I can get a couple more stories written, because I've got all the ideas. I sat down probably about the same time last year, and storyboarded some ideas, and I get things. So I've got a pages worth of stories here, ideas for stories here that I've not even looked at. So I think I'm okay in that sense. I've got the ideas there that I can develop. So that should help me get stories out a bit quicker. So I'm not having to come up with a new concept and a new idea completely. I've already got something hashed out there already. Like the carnival one. So that's going to be after the Mug Duck Park 2 that I've got coming out. The campfire story and then the corresponding Sam Hain Scotland video. I will get part 2 because I've written the ideas for part 2 and part 3, so I can now develop them because I quite like that the idea of that story, but thought I could do more. What I tend to do when I start writing is I'm thinking now of keeping it short, or I was thinking about keeping it short for the YouTube videos. I only wanted them to be about 10, 15 minutes. But then as you write them, you think of more things. You think, oh, I better not write that because it'll take me down a different tangent. Because if I come up with a new idea, I start writing, and that takes me down a different road from where I started. You know, I've got a chaotic mind when it comes to that. So to pull it all together, I keep them short. But those ideas still fester. Hence the reason I've now got a part 2. And I don't know if Sarah's still kicking about in the background, but Sarah mentioned in her live about writing stuff down and as in maybe doing a book. So I've kind of looked at that as well. But to do that, I would take the stories I've got on video at the moment and adapt them, expand them more maybe, because there's more I could add to them story-wise instead of just adding because I know it'll work better for a video. So I'll look at that. And the carnival one is one of those, because some of the ideas I had for the original carnival story are now part 2 and part 3. So they were still written there on the page, and I thought, you know what? I think I will add to that. So there'll be a Forgotten Carnival part 2 coming out very soon, and then hopefully soon after the part 3, which will tie it all together and bring it to a nice end. And I'll also write those out to maybe put in a book of some sort. I know nothing about publishing. I'll write the stories. I maybe will drop Sarah an email at some point and get her advice on publishing and kind of that side of things, and maybe start to offer a wee Sam Hain compendium of campfire stories. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll take it to 10:30 then. We'll take it to 10:30. And I think it's awesome that so many of you have hung in this long. I think it's brilliant. But yeah, so a lot to think about. Definitely got my creative juices flowing, which is why again I want to do the kind of story development in the chat and on a live. I think that'll be an absolutely fantastic way to do things. Definitely. So other things that I want to do is I do want to focus on the lore a bit more because that fits with the theme of the channel. But I do want to get some more poltergeist. No, I don't know what I'm talking about now. Rubbish. More paranormal type stories out there, more ghost stories, proper ghost stories back out there. But I'd asked Nick from Paranormal Poet was on Michael Burkeen's podcast the other day, and I'd asked both of them there in that chat, you know, if they thought the art of storytelling was dying out, especially on YouTube, because there's very few channels out there, and I believe in oral storytelling, passing down stories from through the age, and I want to keep that going. That's where I started. I said I was a youth worker, so I started off as a youth worker at the age of 19. Getting paid for it for the age of 19. I think from the age of 17, 18, I was helping with local youth clubs in my local school that I left. So my high school, when I left, I went back to teach the first years I don't know, is that year sevens or year eights, or whatever they are. Um, so the 12, 13-year-olds that had just come into high school. So I went back at the age of 17, 18 to do things like badminton. We ran badminton clubs for them. We ran football. I was into weights and weight training back then. You wouldn't know now to see me, but I was into weights and weight training back then. So we kind of ran a club on a Tuesday and a Thursday night for them. And then from that, I then started in youth work, proper, getting paid for it, doing similar things for youth groups and things. So it started from there. And one of the things I liked doing once I get into the outdoor stuff and was taking it away and doing the Duke Edinburgh Award scheme was telling the stories around the campfire. I loved coming up with stories on the spot. Nothing better than watching their faces as you say to them, and that tree over there, well, that tree's got a story to it as well. And then you expand on the story and you kind of see them looking in. It was brilliant. So that's what I want to keep doing. That's what I'm hoping this channel want to keep doing, is get that history of storytelling and keep it going. Because where would history be without people passing on stories? So hopefully, if I can make you guys part of that as well, then so be it. You know, that's exactly what I'm setting out to do. You know, so kind of you, Dragon Ranger. Thanks. I don't know about that. But thank you. Yeah, it's good. I never thought I would fit in the talking on live. I think the first ever live I was on was with. In fact, no, it wasn't the first ever live I was on. I was going to say Michael Burkeen's chat, but that was the first one I was a guest on. I briefly popped into one of Beardo's. Oh, was it the Christmas one he done? When he invited people on through Discord, I think it was. I popped on there as well. It's Beardo's fault. It's Beardo's fault I started the channel because I asked him, Seg, and Crow once in a Seg live, you know, if I should start a channel, and all three of them said yes, and I never looked back yet since. So that's where it all started from, me asking that question in that live. But yeah, so it's good to get to know people. It is, because, you know, being a youth worker, moving into the Army Cadets and things like that, and you're still working with young teens, and you kind of got to talk to them about the dangers of the internet. So that whole thing, how it's anonymous, you know, and I don't mean this in a, well, you guys all know what kind of things I'm alluding at here, but you see all these names in chat, and you talk to all these people in chat, but I couldn't put a face to 99% of you guys. Couldn't tell you anything about you. And it would have been the same for when you guys saw me. And when I first came into these chats, I was under Andy and my surname. I was never Sam Hain at the time. So all of a sudden this Sam Hain Campfire Chills pops up. And nobody realises that you've probably been talking to me a year before that as well. Because I've been around some of these chats for a while before I started the channel. So you start to think about that. You start to think, you know, it's good to get people together. I know not everybody's comfortable talking on camera, but even just finding bits out about each other. It's a wider network. It's a global network of storytelling. That's how I want to look at it. You know, if you guys want to tell me your experiences that I can turn into a story during the development lives, then that's where we'll go with it. So I want to do more like that. I want to kind of make the channel more like that as well. The Campfire Chill side of it. You know, we would be discreet with changing names and developing characters and situations and things like that as well. But if folk have experiences that you would like to see turned into a story, we can work on that. You know, whether it be you send me a discreet email, the email that I've got set up for this and Sam Hain Scotland is the same email, and it's in the descriptions on my channel. So in the main channel description, the email address is there. Fire off an email to it if you want me to turn your experience of the paranormal into a story. I'll fictionalize it because that's what I do. I don't, you know, say this happened to me. I fictionalize stuff. I'm not, you know, I've never had No, I have had some experiences that I'm not sure what they were, but I've always been the kind of guy that would never put them down to paranormal. Um, but that's what's got me interested. So so for me to say I've never done experience is not quite true. There's been some things I've not been able to explain. Never seen a ghost, so don't get me wrong. I've never seen a ghost. Never had poltergeist activity or anything like that. But just some unexplained things. Um, Maybe someday I'll tell you about those. But to me, they're nothing. They're nothing really, other than just something I've not been able to explain yet. As I said, not ghost-like, not possession, not anything like that. Just feelings, knowledge, like, not making sense now, but that kind of stuff. But that's what got me into looking into these paranormal channels and then finding debunkers and writing about it. Is yeah, although I do say I'm skeptic, part of me still thinks something might be out there. So, so that's it. So that's how I find it good to get to talk to people and find out who they are, what makes them tick, and if that helps other people get things off their chest and be able to talk, then perfect. That's what we can do. That's what we can do. But so there we go. We've hit the half hour. So that's been an hour and a half then that I've been on. So I want to thank you all again for coming in. I will get a notification out soon about the next live, which will be the development. We'll call it the development live. Okay, so we'll develop a story live in the chat. Might take me a while to write it and to get it proper, so don't expect me to have that live and then following week that story about. But it will certainly be developed in that live. It will be written shortly after, and then hopefully produced into a video not long after the live. And then we can talk about it in the next live. We can debrief and tear it apart in the next live. So that sounds good. But so thank you all for coming. It has been a great way to spend my birthday. As I said, I'm not one for celebrating birthdays. If it offers people saying, "Oh, come on out for your dinner," and I'm like, "No, thanks. I'll have a curry and chat to my internet folks." So thank you all again. Slanjavar. Have a good one, folks, and I'll see you all on someone else's live and then someone else's chat. Night, night. See you all later. Bye bye.